Hello learners, welcome back to our education channel Learn and Educate. We were studying about Income Tax Act 1961. In the past videos, we have learned about Section 2, Clause 15, Section 2, Clause 15A, Section 2, Clause 16, Section 2, Clause 16A. And now we will continue with it further. Section 2, Clause 17, Company. Company means an Indian company or a body corporate incorporated by or under any law of the country which is outside India. Or company means any institution, association, or body which is or which was assessable as a company for any assessment year under the Income Tax Act 1922, or which is or was assessable or was assessed under the Income Tax Act 1961 under this act as a company for any assessment year commencing on or after the 1st of April 1970. Which means that company which has been assessed under the Income Tax Act 1961 or as a company assessed on or before the first day of April 1970 will be termed as a company. And company means an Indian company, a company which is body corporate incorporated by under the law of the country outside India, or an institution, association, or a body which is assessed or assessed as a company under the Income Tax Act in 1922. Or any company means any institution or an association. Company means any institution or association or body, whether incorporated or not, and whether Indian or Indian non-Indian, which is declared by general or a special court of board to be a company, provided that such institution, associations, or body shall be deemed to be a company only for such assessment year, provided that such institution or association shall be deemed to be a company only for such assessment year or assessment years, whether commencing before the 1st April of 1971 or on or after that date, which is specified in the declaration, which specifies that any institution, association, body of individual body, whether incorporated or not, whether Indian or not, shall be deemed to be a body shall be deemed to be a company by the board. Board means Central Board of Excise and Customs, Central Board of Direct Tax. Sorry, for direct taxation purpose, Central Board of Direct Tax (CBDT), when it is declared by the CBDT that whether a company institution, association incorporated or not, but shall be deemed to be a company for the purpose of Income Tax Act. Section 2, Clause 18. Company in which the public are substantially interested. A company is said to be a company in which the public are substantially interested. A. If it is a company owned by government or the Reserve Bank of India, or in which not less than 40% of the shares are held, wherein which a 40% or more are held whether singular or taken together by the government or the Reserve Bank of India or the corporation owned by that bank. When the RBI owns 40% or more than 40% in a company, or whereas where a government owns 40% or more in a particular company of shares, then it will deem to be a company that in which public are substantially interested. Subclause AA. If it is a company which is registered under Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956. If the company was registered formed under Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956, shall be deemed to be a company in which public are substantially interested. Clause AA. If it is a company having no share capital, and if having regard to its object, the nature and the composition of its membership, and other relevant considerations, it is declared by the other of the board to be a company in which the public are substantially to be declared by the company in which the public are substantially interested. When it is declared by this board of Central Board of Direct Tax that a company in which public is substantially interested with regard to its objects, the nature and the composition of its membership, and the company having no share capital, if provided that in which when having a no share capital and having regard to object and nature of the compositions, nature and the composition of its membership, and other relevant considerations, it is declared by the order of the board to be a company in which the public are substantially interested, provided that such company shall be deemed to be a company or the such company shall be deemed to be a company in which the public are substantially interested only for such assessment year or such assessment years, whether commencing before the first study of April, whether commencing before the first study of April 1971 or on or after that date, as may be specified in the declaration. S- Section Section 2, Clause 16, Subclause AC. If it is a mutual benefit finance company, that is to say, a company which carries on as its principal business the business of acceptance of deposit from its members, and which is declared by the central government under Section 620A of the Companies Act 1956 to be as neither company or a mutual benefit society. What has happened? These are all the definitions with respect to Companies Act 1956. Yes, but now the Companies Act 2013 has been incorporated. So the corresponding sections, so the sections dealing with the Nidhi company or the mutual benefit society company. Therefore, the sections dealing with the Nidhi company provisions of Companies Act 2013 dealing with Nidhi company shall be deemed to be a mutual benefit finance company, and it shall be considered under as a company in which a public is substantially interested. Section 2, clause Section 2, Clause 18, Subclause AD. If it is a company, if it is a company where shares not being entitled to a fixed rate of dividend, whether with or without a further right to participation in the profits, carrying not less than 50% of the voting rights, have been allotted unconditionally to or been acquired unconditionally by and were throughout the relevant previous years beneficially held by one or more cooperative societies, beneficially held by one or more the cooperative societies which are beneficially held by one or more cooperative societies, and where it does not have a fixed rate of interest, fixed rate of dividend, and whether a part further right to participation or not, then such corporate society shall be deemed to be a company in which public are substantially interested. Section 2, Clause 18, Subclause B. If it is a company which is not a private company as defined in the Companies Act 1956 and the conditions specified either in item A or item B are fulfilled. The conditions are specified in capital A are capital A shares in the company not being shares entitled to a fixed rate of dividend, whether with or without a further right to participate in the profits, where as on the last day of the 11th previous year recognized in a recognized stock exchange, listed in the recognized stock exchange to the 11th previous year, listed in the recognized stock exchanges in India in accordance with the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956 and in the rules made thereunder. When the company which is not a private company, it is not a private company, and which has a fixed rate or a fixed rate of dividend with or without a further right to participation in profits, as on the last day of the relevant previous year, and its shares are listed on the recognized stock exchanges in India in accordance with the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956 and in the rules made thereunder. It shall be deemed to be a company in which a public association is interested. Capital B. Shares in which not being a shares entitled to fixed rate of interest, whether with or without further right to participate in profits. When shares in a company which is not having a fixed rate of interest, and carrying a not less than 50 percentage of the voting rights, and which is not having a 50 percentage or less than 50 percentage of voting powers, have been allotted unconditionally to or have been allotted unconditionally to or acquired unconditionally by where throughout the relevant previous year beneficially held by the government of India, beneficially held by the government, or by corporation established under by the central or state government, when when it is established by the state government or by the corporation established by the central government, or under provisional act shall be deemed to be these conditions are fulfilled, then and it is not a private company. Then it is not a private company. Then it will be deemed to be a company in which public is substantially interested. Section 2, Clause 18, Subclause C. Any company to which this clause applies, any company to which this clause is applicable, and any subsidiary company of such company, if the whole of the share, if the whole of the share capital, if the whole of the share capital of such subsidiary company has been held by the parent, if the whole of the share capital of such subsidiary company has been held by the parent company or by its nominees throughout the previous year. When a company to which this clause applies, any subsidiary company of such a company, if the whole of the share capital of such a company has been held by the parent company or by its nominee throughout the previous year. Explanation is that if in this application to an Indian company whose business consists mainly in the construction of ships or in the manufacturing or processing of goods in the mining or generation or distribution of electricity or any other form of item B have been, and then item B shall have effect as if the words are not less than 50, the words are not less than 50 has been substituted. Acha. Oh, the previously the conditions are defined in clause B, which has not been applicable in this case, and the words will be substituted not less than 50 percentage by the held by the shares held by the government or a corporation established by the central act, state act, or a provincial act, and which is a subsidiary of the company, whose parent company is the company defined in subclause B. Yes, and secondly, explanation is that the such company whose business consists mainly of construction of ships or in engage in the manufacturing or processing of goods or in mining or in generation or distribution of the electricity, then such company shall be deemed to be a company in which public is substantially interested. The company in which a public is substantially interested.